everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video. And today we're going to be doing my top 5 favorite comics of 2010 and top 5 least favorite comics of 2010. Now see, we're in 2011 and I thought I'd bring closure on my channel to 2010 by doing a video like this, to look back and reflect upon the things that I've enjoyed the most about the comic book world in the past year, and the things that I didn't quite enjoy about the comic book world in the past year. So this is going to just be a quick little video, and the last of these random videos before I get back into my normal reviews, to just look upon the 5 comics that I enjoyed the most, and the 5 comics I enjoyed the least. Well, with one honorable mention thrown in there too. Now, first and foremost, this is my opinion. Keyword opinion. No way, shape, or form am I saying these are the best comics of 2010. In no way, shape, or form do I say these are the worst comics of 2010. All I'm saying are these are the ones that I've personally enjoyed the most, and the ones that I've least enjoyed the most. Everyone has their own opinion, and I'm just going to be giving you mine. Second thing is, some of these comics actually transitioned from 2009 to 2010, and my hatred or like of them did the same. So, just to let you know. But they were still 2010. So, with that said, I'm going to alternate back and forth. So, 5th worst, 5th best, 4th worst, 4th best, so on, so forth. So, first of all, let's just do an honorable mention on the good side, and that would be to Booster Gold. Why am I doing this honorable mention? Well, because it's Booster Gold. And this comic is always enjoyable, and it's always just nice to mention good old Gold there. Oh, I love you, Booster. So honorable mention goes to Booster Gold. But with that said, let's go into my 5th most favorite comic of 2010. And that would be Supergirl. I have really enjoyed Supergirl, and I really try to push her comics because, well, it's good. She's a character that really grows throughout her comics, starting off as a teenager with a lot of emotion and no direction, and then finding that direction and controlling her emotions and growing up and maturing and going from being Superman's cousin to becoming Supergirl the hero. She's just a great character, and I know her comics started off a little bit rocky, especially with Volume 2 Kandor. Ugh, just wasn't good. But on a whole, Supergirl has been a fantastic comic and one of my favorite things to read in this past year, especially with the New Krypton stuff, because her comic deals with more of the Earth stuff of New Krypton, while Superman tends to focus just on New Krypton. So Supergirl, definitely a comic of 2010 that I have loved. So moving on would be my 5th least favorite comic of 2010, and that would be Teen Titans. Now, Teen Titans is on this mostly just because they haven't been as good as they usually should be. In no way, shape, or form am I saying I really absolutely hate Teen Titans right now. It's just looking back on them in 2003 to 2006, when it first started, it was pure gold. And then it's kind of gone downhill. Now, I've heard on the internet from a lot of people that it's starting to get better, particularly because they brought back Superboy and Kid Flash. Good. They need to bring back Tim Drake, but that's just me. I heard Damian's on the team now, too. But right now in 2010, or not now, but back in 2010, this comic was really struggling. It just wasn't working out for me. It just wasn't, well, as good as it was. So, Teen Titans, not particularly horrible, just not good compared to what it usually pulls out. So, 2010's 5th least favorite comic, Teen Titans. Moving on to my 4th favorite comic of 2010 would be Red Robin. Now, when I first heard they were going to do a Red Robin comic, I hate to say it, but I was very curious to see how long it would last, because the theme that they were giving out was Tim Drake looking for Bruce Wayne. But when you actually read the comic, boy, is this anything but. Sure, he's looking for Bruce Wayne, but this is a very big, growing story for Tim Drake. This is him becoming his own man, no longer being the sidekick to Batman. He is becoming his own hero. If he wasn't already his own hero already, he's definitely becoming it now. Tim Drake is the fucking man. A genius in his own right, and you really see it in Red Robin. Sure, the costume is a little meh, but Tim Drake shines in this. And if you're not reading this, well, I pity you. Because Red Robin is a great series, and I really want to see where they go from here. So Red Robin, 4th favorite comic of 2010. Moving on to my 4th least favorite comic of 2010, Azrael. Now, I've said before that I love Azrael the character, and I love the tone of his comic, and I really do want to see the comic do well. But in the scheme of things, it is the weakest of the Batman Universe comics. The stories are just kind of thrown together, and they lack the direction that they need. It feels as though they're really trying to hit their stride or find well, how should I say? I guess the it factor that the comic needs. It's direction. It doesn't have direction right now. And despite how much praise I may have given the comic, it's still not all that good. And it definitely makes my list as probably the comics that I've least enjoyed in 2010. So Azrael, yeah, you're going down in history for 2010 for not being good. Coming on to my 5th favorite comic series of 2010 would be Grant Morrison's run on Batman and Robin. Now, Grant Morrison has been on Batman for quite some time, and his earlier work was very mind-boggling, for lack of a better term. Grant Morrison has his own writing style, and I do enjoy it a lot. And Batman and Robin was a much more grounded Batman series than any of his other work. Still intellectual and still kind of have the elements and the mystery that the previous stuff did, but a lot more grounded in tone and dialogue. And what I did like about this is the dialogue got a little bit better. Grant Morrison is great at doing stories, but he could be a little better when it comes down to dialogue for characters. What I did like about this is how it ties into the return of Bruce Wayne, R.I.P., and also a lot of other stuff going on in the Batman universe. In addition to that, this makes Damian a lot more likable of a character because he actually gets to act as a hero. I know a lot of people will be upset that this isn't like number 1 on my list, but Grant Morrison's run on Batman is enjoyable, and the fact that it's made in my top 5 is enough. So Grant Morrison's Batman Robin run, enjoyable and really, really fun. Moving on to number 3 least favorite comic of 2010 would be Justice League of America. Boy, has this comic just fell apart, especially before Final Crisis. Now, when I heard James Robinson was going on to the title, I was actually pretty eager to see what would happen, especially with this new team having like Donna Troy and Dick Grayson and so on and so forth on it. Because I heard James Robinson is actually a pretty good writer, you know, putting some bad stuff aside, but I've heard he's actually a pretty good writer. But this just is, if I could give it one word, disorganized. You know, the team fluctuates in and out, and you never know what's really going down, and plot points are just dropped. If there was some stability to it, it would have been better. But I've really cringed whenever I get the Justice League book, because I feel like it's not going to be good. And it saddens because Justice League is one of my favorite comics of all time, and it just hasn't been good. So it makes it on the list as the 3rd worst comic for me in 2010. Moving on to the 2nd best comic in 2010 for me would be Tony Daniels' run on Batman. Now, a lot of people probably definitely hate me right now for putting this before Grant Morrison's run on Batman, saying that this is better. Well, for me, I've enjoyed this more. And the reason being is, one, is the art is fantastic. Really fantastic. Tony Daniels is starting to get in his own. In addition to that, he's really focusing on Dick Grayson as a character. Now, first and foremost, as you can see, I have the one done by Judd Winnick. Mostly just because I grabbed a random Batman thing off the shelf. But Tony Daniels' stuff on Batman is really good. It's really just showing Dick Grayson becoming Batman, becoming his own. If you look at Grant Morrison's run on Batman, you know, Dick Grayson's kind of been the silent character. His character story really isn't told as loudly as Bruce Wayne or Damian Wayne or even the Joker. His is more subtle. He's kind of the stable character. So with that, he doesn't get as much exposure. But in Tony Daniels' run on Batman, he gets that exposure and he becomes his own character. They're great stories too, especially the stuff with Black Mask. I heard a lot of people knock that, like Life After Death, but that was a really good story arc. I enjoyed it. So Tony Daniels' run on Batman, really good, really enjoyable. Definitely should pick it up. even though I showed you the Judge Winnick book. Okay, so what are we doing? Number 2, least favorite comic of 2010 would be Justice League Cry for Justice. Boy, did this suck! The art was fantastic, but oh my god, was this just atrocious. The dialogue was horrible, the plot was horrible, everything was horrible. The only good thing that could ever come out of this is just Prometheus beating the shit out of everyone. And it's probably because Prometheus broke the fourth wall, and he's like, wow, this comic sucks, I should beat the shit out of everyone out of character. Cry for Justice was not good, and I recommend everyone avoid it. Horrible. I believe it started in 2009, but I'm going to count it as a 2010 book. Justice League Cry for Justice, I cry for justice whenever I read it. Definitely one of my worst comics of 2010. Now coming on to my favorite comic book series of 2010, Paul Dini's Streets of Gotham. Oh, Paul Dini, how I love you. You are a fantastic writer, and probably one of the best Batman writers of, well, all time. The great thing about Streets of Gotham, the one thing I like about it a lot, is its street-level crime. It's like detective work. It feels like old-school Batman, back in the Bronze Age and in the Silver Age, where he would go around and do detective work. And you get it with Dick Grayson, too. The art is nice, the stories are nice, and it's just Paul Dini doing what he does best. Fantastic Batman work. A lot of people would be saying right now, well, you put it on your list at number 1 because Paul Dini wrote it. And you would be absolutely correct. Paul Dini is that good of a Batman writer. So, I'm telling you, I enjoyed his work on Batman the most. It's probably the one I looked forward to the most when it came down to comic books for the year. So, Batman, by Paul Dini, the Streets of Gotham series in particular, fantastic. And my favorite comic of 2010. Now looking at the worst comic for 2010 for me would be Buffy Season 8. Oh my, Buffy Season 8 not only was bad, but it ruined Buffy the series and Angel the series and their characters for me. Now, I have a few people out there that actually argue with me about the Buffy series and about how some of my stuff may not be valid when I say characters are acting out of character. But boy, are they acting out of characters. Like, for example, everyone has their faults, but certain characters have their faults exemplified and maximized to the pure level of stupidity, particularly Angel. How could Angel go around and allow all these people to die and do all this stuff for Buffy? I mean, this isn't the same Angel that turned back time, gave up being mortal and being happy with Buffy in Angel Season 1, to gain his powers back to help people and to protect Buffy. It's not the same character. Buffy is just an idiot throughout the whole entire story. Just overly out there. I don't even know where her character stands. And Willow is just digressing right back into what Willow was in Season 6. Season 7 was all about Willow getting better, but now she's starting to get all magicked up again. In addition to that, it's being cliche. Angel's the bad guy again. Oh no, the Master has returned for no reason. It's like they're throwing stuff at us just to throw it at us, to get some kind of rise out of us. Like the Master did nothing. He was just there, you know, and like I said, it's just cliche. It's bad. The characters have been out of character, and I really have not enjoyed this. I'm just looking forward to it ending. I really am. It really has hurt Buffy for me. And it's hurt Joss Whedon for me to allow him to kind of allow this to happen. So, Buffy Season 8, my least favorite comic of 2010. So that was my top 5 favorite and my top 5 least favorite with one honorable mention. What is yours? Please comment or send a video response and letting me know what your favorite comics of 2010 or least favorite comics of 2010. I'm always eager to hear your opinions because, well, it's interesting to see what people think. And you guys usually have good opinions. So, with that said, I'm going to end this video here. Like I said, it's just a quick video. But this is Andrew saying peace out for now.